Hello, everyone. Welcome back to today's episode of Afterglow. And first off, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your support. I mean, this means the world to us. Your support is literally keeping all the lights on. You are the reason why we are able to do this. And so we just want to thank you so much for your support. And please don't forget to just share our podcast to more people because we want to keep doing this. We really enjoy, spreading this love and light. So again, thank you so much for your support. And on today's episode, it is very, very special because this person has been such an icon and a force, not only on the YouTube space, but also as an Asian American. He has inspired so many people who didn't see people who looked like us on TV. He was the #1 most subscribed YouTuber for years back in the early 2010s and has been such a massive inspiration even for someone like me. I'm in the makeup category and this person is creating all this fun storytelling content that even inspired me. This person is none other than Ryan Higa. Personally, I haven't seen Ryan since his podcast. Literally, it feels like a full circle moment to have him come back on my show where we go deep on his work, the early rise of his YouTube days, and what he's been up to today. So, without further ado, please welcome Ryan Higa. Ryan Higa grew up on the Big Island. Who was he?
I would say pretty awkward to myself. I had friends, but I not a lot until I was in high school maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a very happy kid.
Why
I
do
had
you
a
think?
great I had no reason for it, but I think I was a very naturally depressed kid.
What do you mean by that?
I had so there's a lot of things I've talked about it before, but I've had so many moments from a very young age of feeling suicidal. And
wow.
Part of it was bullying in middle school and stuff like that, but even for a kid, why would you, it's kind of odd to say that, but I did feel like that as a little kid. And I had a great family and upbringing. So
Yeah.
there's no excuse for that.
Were the suicidal thoughts what would happen if I die, or
It was more real in middle school when I was getting bullied more. And I want to say I also really hated doing judo my whole life, but I'm glad I did it.
were you forced to do it?
Yeah, I was forced to do it till
Okay.
8th grade. but I
We
ended up
all
going-
hate what we're forced to do.
Exactly. And I did it from age 5.
So. Oh man, yeah, you didn't have a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. And then I love basketball, but I was just really bad at it. So all the combination of everything kind of was a little sad kid. I don't
Yeah.
know. A very not angry, but kind of a,
You were resentful, would you say?
I don't know. I was just a very unhappy
There was
kid.
a lot of feelings.
Yeah,
A lot of feelings
yeah.
that were
I just remember
ruminating
that
in
as a
you.
kid. I don't really remember why or the reasonings for it, and then in high school it all kind of got better.
Okay, let's go into that.
Coincidentally, around the time of when I started YouTube.
I was going to say, do you think somehow YouTube was this outlet for you to kind of explore these feelings and, I don't know, make art with it? You know what I mean? Transmute them.
Okay, I'll take it back. It wasn't necessarily YouTube because YouTube was I want to say 10th grade. I started filming things on VHS, on camcorder. And that was in middle school around that time. I think that was my outlet.
You were that kid in American Beauty, just filming everywhere?
No, I was making little skits with the neighbors.
Okay.
Yeah, and parodies and lip syncs and things we thought were funny, but no one ever was gonna see it. So I did that kind of stuff with friends, and I think that let me understand comedy, and comedy helped me combat bullying at the time, or help me deal with that. And it was my defense mechanism, and it just made my life easier, my thought process more positive, and it helped comedy helped me gain bravery.
What actually inspired you to even pick up the camcorder like that and just start filming?
It was a family reunion, specifically at this random Chinese
It's
restaurant.
always family reunions.
Family reunion.
You were
and
the cameraman?
I had to film things, and instead of filming the families, when we watched it back, I don't remember doing it, but I don't. Anyway, we watched it back. I was just not filming anything, but my own stuff, the POV of an ant on a table and stuff like that, and I captured nothing.
Oh my gosh.
but it was fun for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then they were laughing. So I was like, oh, I can make people laugh. And then I was like, what else could I film with this? That was so easy to do. What else could I do? I could make like my own version of Napoleon Dynamite or something like that. So we started doing like little skits here and there and just found like people think it's funny. So I just did it.
Wow.
That's the start.
No, I mean, naturally, you were talented at that.
I wouldn't say talented. It was just fun. People weren't really doing it, you know?
Well, I feel like when something is fun, it's a direction towards your talent. I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know?
Maybe. I think I had more, if anything, it was more of a talent to like imitate. Because I started off with a lot of parody and stuff. So like seeing what I would see on shows and stuff, I would take it and like recreate it. And then I started finding like later on in life how to like make your own versions of that and make it your own.
And so that was kind of like the origins, your training grounds for YouTube.
Yeah.
Was essentially
kinda.
that.
I mean, even YouTube, like I don't know about you, but when I started, it was an accident. Like I didn't know people were going to see it.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. I would assume, right? Like nobody thought during that time, right? YouTube wasn't like a career. You couldn't make money. There was no partner program until,
No.
I mean, I got in it late, but
2008, I think, or 9.
yeah. So I got in like 2009. I think people were in and around
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't know it was like a future. No one thought it was a future,
Well,
right?
what did you want to do as a kid growing up, like career-wise? I know.
So
we all
when I
had
was really
dreams.
young, elementary school, I remember I wanted to be an actor. And I told my mom and she said no because they're all starving.
Wow.
Like she's realistic.
Yeah.
She's like, no, they're all
Asian
starving.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're the top 0.1%, like you're all starving. I was like, okay.
She's not wrong though.
Yeah,
now that I'm
but you're
older,
telling
I'm
a
like,
kid that.
Yeah.
But
Just
like
crushing his
I
dreams.
respect it. I'm gonna tell my kid like, yeah, you could do that if you want, but it's rough. Realistically, it's rough.
So then what were you steered into doing then?
So, and then I wasn't like steered into it, and it's gonna sound stereotypical, but it was my choice to be like, I want to become either a doctor or after that it was a architect. Because I thought
That was your choice. Okay.
yeah, because I was like, oh, I like to draw. I'm not good at drawing, but I like to draw. And then I realized it's math. I was like, I don't like to math, so I'm not gonna do that. And then I said, I'm just gonna go medical field, but I don't want to do 8 to 10 years of schooling. So what can I do that makes a lot of money, but is not 10 years of schooling? So I settled on nuclear medicine technologist.
What?
Yeah,
That's so advanced.
it's like 4 years and another 2
But
years.
that's math, like
Yeah.
applied
Well,
math
it's not
and chemistry.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like this is way later. This is like high school. I'm jumping around. My bad.
That's totally fine. No.
So I wanted to be a nuclear medicine technologist because it was like they make good money, good enough money, and it's not 10 years of school. You're not a doctor.
You hated school. I hated school too.
I hated school so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to college for a couple years and then dropped out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. So you were doing college while doing YouTube at the same time.
Yeah. And like both were suffering because I stopped posting because I had to focus
Yeah.
on school, and then
Yeah.
school was rough because I had to make videos and I had to pick. And so luckily the partner program was already in effect.
Yeah.
So I could tell my parents like, hey, look, I'm making money. Can I thought they were gonna be really mad, but they were very supportive. They were just like, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It was so unknown back then too.
Yeah, and it wasn't sure that it was gonna keep making money, right?
Yeah.
At the time. 2009. Right?
Yeah. It was early.
Yeah.
OG.
Yep. Just old.
When did you feel like it became a purpose to you? Like, did you feel like it was a purpose, or was it just an outlet for you to just create?
Like I started off because it was fun. And then over time I saw how many people were watching and people who were related. I think I really felt more of a purpose after I did like my Draw My Life, where I like talked about things. And then people related a lot to like the bullying, or just like not really thinking their lives are going to be anything, kind of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really like, that wasn't my purpose for doing it, but I also knew that it helped other people because I would read about it. So, and then there was also, I felt the same thing and kind of responsibility when all these like, naturally a lot of Asian people come up to you and say like you were one of the few representation in like the industry, or all like, so stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
didn't start with that purpose.
It
But
was
it became
fun.
it over time.
The purpose was fun. So
It was fun.
It was fun.
We're just
and,
having fun.
and then when you were able to really share your story, a lot of your fans and viewers felt seen and heard. And
Yeah.
that was when it reignited a stronger sense of purpose beyond
Yeah.
just fun.
Yeah, it's so like I get a lot of these like AAPI and like
Yeah, yeah.
things, and they're
Well, you were the
what
first.
started you to
You were the first Asian person that people saw in the
mm-hmm.
mainstream for so many kids. To
Well,
be honest with
I
you.
mean, like Kev, there's like a few people, like a bunch of like
Yeah.
Asian creators, I think, but
But you were really leading the way, to be honest with you. I
well,
remember.
I mean, there's a lot of us.
I know, yeah, yeah, of course. But like you were the #1 most subscribed person on YouTube.
For a little bit, yeah.
No, you were that for
For a
2
little
years.
bit.
2 years is a long time to hold a title like that. So when was the moment you realized you were famous?
Famous?
Famous.
It's funny because like I felt that way early on, and then like looking back, it wasn't anything. But like literally in the very beginning, when I like posted lip syncs, I expected me to be a viewer, my mom, maybe some other family members we sent it to. So 20 at most.
Yeah.
And when I found out and came back to it, because I didn't know, it had like 4,000 views. I was like, I'm famous.
4,000's a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the time I was like, what happened? And it was like all of them, all the lip syncs. So people were going and watching them and asking for more. I was like, what is happening? So at that point, but like as you keep going on, you realize that was nothing. And
Yeah.
so
let's
there's no actual point,
No, I feel like there's definitely an evolution to your content since you started. You were doing these lip syncing, and then you started transitioning into these skits, right? Like, walk me through your creative process on that.
I always wanted to. Well, the thing is, like anything else, I technically like found success doing the lip syncs, so people asked for that, so I did more of them. But I've always did skits. Like I was telling you, I did skits before YouTube, so I wanted to do skits. I just didn't know how, and I just brought back what I was doing with like my neighborhood friends and started writing out scripts and stuff and preparing for it, and that's about it.
So wait, but how did you even know how to write stuff like this? Like, how do you go from like, I want to be a nuclear scientist person to let me start writing skits and making like these really cool.
I would always have the ideas in my head.
Yeah.
It's just getting them out to people is the hard part.
Yeah. I'm curious to know more about like how, because during that time, the early days of YouTube, there was so much demand for content. This was before Netflix was big. So there was an appetite. People wanted to be entertained. Like, how did you keep up with the cadence of, you were uploading pretty often too, and all your content, they were relatively,
was I?
Yeah. I mean, for the type of content you were making.
Yeah. I wouldn't say I was uploading often compared to some other people.
Yeah.
What was your schedule?
No, my schedule was like once or twice a week.
See, that's more than
But
me.
see, that's a makeup tutorial though. So it's different than like creating an original skit where you're telling a story.
I was happy early on with once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was like a good amount for me. But then when I got like a crew, it was like once a week, or tried to do that, but we never stuck to that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a lot of it was on me, just being like, no, this ain't ready.
Yeah, because you're basically the creative vision for everything. It starts with you, I'm assuming, right? Or
yeah. And I had, my editor Greg, and he's much more than editor. Like he helped with a lot of like creative too. It was a combination of like, do we want to stick to the schedule, or is it better to just wait a week and have a really good product, or maybe 3 weeks and have a really great product and so on? But like at some point, it's still a business.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different later in life.
So you know how like certain YouTubers, they have a persona that they play, and then with cameras off, they just revert back to themselves.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you had this with you being Ryan Higa, like on camera, off camera, or
yeah?
So you had that persona.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and I thought everyone knew that.
Well, you'd be surprised. I feel like most of our audience are like, no, but you're not like that. And it's like, no, I don't talk like this. I don't talk like the tutorial voice all the time. I talk normal,
exactly,
you know?
Exactly. Good luck.
I know. Exactly.
It was so I knew that had happened, but I was kind of surprised later because we had done a whole channel and just behind the scenes where we're still a little up because we're on camera.
Yeah.
But I'm nothing like how I am on the main channel.
Yeah.
So even that first time we started releasing stuff, people were a little confused, but like they got over and people understood. When I started doing the podcast and then eventually streaming, where I'm talking just like normal.
Yeah.
People to this day, I still get people every day saying like, "Why are you so sad?" I'm like, "That's just my face." I have RBF. Like,
yeah.
Like if I'm resting right now, I'm like this. People think I'm mad.
No,
I'm not mad.
You're very stoic.
I
No,
am.
Ryan's a very stoic
I am.
person.
Thank you. Defend
Shockingly,
me.
yeah.
I have RBF though. Yeah. People think I'm mad all the time. I'm not mad. Maybe tired, but
Yeah,
not
that's
mad.
what I was gonna say. Is like, how do you? I mean, it's different when you're an actor and you play a role and people know that. But I feel like as online creators, people really identify you as the character you portray.
Yeah.
So how do you? How are you able to separate that for your own personal life too? Like you can turn that off, right? Or is it hard for you to kind of unwind down?
To
from
me,
that
it was
character?
more like turning it on for camera. It was almost like I knew of it as a character.
Yeah,
Like it's still me, but like it's like hyper act. Like I thought people knew because no one talks like that all the time.
I know.
Like you would think, right? Like it's no one like I assumed people knew, but maybe it's like younger people didn't realize it. I'm not sure.
I just think when people see something on screen, they think that's real. Like reality shows, like they really believe that reality shows are literally the reality. They don't know that, no, it's scripted and it's very scripted. They tell people to walk in that room and yell at that person and start
But
this
you know
drama.
the vlogger voice, like the vlogger, like that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so like
Yeah.
no one actually talks like that.
It's true.
Like I mean,
would
in
be
reality
concerning
shows,
if
there's
they
still
did, yeah.
there's still people that sound like that in real life. You know what I mean?
No,
Like it was like doing like a hyperactive, like I guess there is people like that in real life.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess like you wanted to be an actor and then you kind of became one.
Yeah.
Like your own,
Kinda.
you're acting like yourself, but more hyperactive. No more
Yeah.
I, you're E, you're extroverted Ryan, no longer
Yeah.
introverted Ryan.
But that was like do you remember that was like a thing? Like people, that's how you vlogged.
Yeah.
Everyone
yeah.
had like high energy because if you didn't, you lost, like it felt slow. And then
Yeah,
things
yeah.
slowly started to change, like
It's
things
true.
like this, right? Like long format, just having
Well,
conversation.
people are growing up too. Like they
Yeah.
don't want to. I don't want to watch someone.
I
Just
don't wanna
being
see
like
cut-ups.
hyperactive all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes like every now and then, I stopped doing this, but on stream, I had this thing where people could react or request to react to a video.
Yeah.
And I turned that off because I got so sick of watching my own videos. But I would see it and I would just like cringe because of how like it's cut up and like you just like just talk, dude.
Yeah.
Just talk. But I remember back then you couldn't do that. You had to cut things quicker
Yeah.
for the most part. Yours was a little bit different. Your vibe
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
We're just in different genres.
Yeah.
But
But in like comedy and skits and stuff like that.
you started off on YouTube. You were just doing it accidentally, and then you become the most famous YouTuber on the planet. And there's just so much attention. And I remember I was hanging out with you. We went to the mall, and you were stopped. You were stopped every 10 seconds. And I was like, I can't take this guy anywhere.
What do you mean? That's you too.
No. But you were really stopped every 10 seconds, I remember. And I'm so curious. I remember that day when I went home, I was like, I always wonder if like, does Ryan get lonely? You know, like, do you ever feel like you were lonely during that time or?
No, not really, honestly. I'm not exactly in what way because the thing is, I'm introvert. We went through this. I'm very introverted,
Yeah.
so I spent a lot of time with like
You
the
like your
team and the guys
solitude.
and stuff. And like I like to be alone.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm writing, I need to be like in the room by myself and like preferably with no one else in any other room, so I can like shout and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I kind of always felt that was my re-energizing time because I
Yeah.
was always like with a group of people. So not really. Maybe in a deeper sense, I wasn't even thinking that way. But at the time, no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding like you love being in your solitude when you're being creative, like what was your process like?
My version of that was just caffeine. So I would just drink
Mm.
like Red Bull or whatever was around that was like caffeinated, and then empty page on the MacBook, like the text edit.
Yeah.
Just one of those, and just like any idea that comes to mind. The first step was like one word ideas, like hot topics. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a complete idea. Just like listing,
Mm-hmm.
and then going through all the list would be like the next if there was anything interesting or I had an idea for even just one joke for each one, whichever one was like the best one, and then you just work on each individual joke and see like can this be something like more than just one joke.
Yeah.
So that was the process, and you just do it over and over and over, and you can keep doing it and get nothing for like weeks sometimes. But that was, I'm not gonna lie, that part was towards the end the most painful. And like when you're in like I'm sure writers people who actually write,
Yeah.
I don't really consider that, like I don't know the process of, that's just my process. it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to like be putting in hours of work, ending with nothing every day for like days in a row. It like beats up on you. At the same time, knowing like you need to come up with something because you have a team waiting for you to do stuff.
Was anyone on your team like a good soundboard for you to help you creatively, like get out of this rut? Or
Not really, because they are all kind of doing their own thing too.
Mm.
And for the writing stuff, I found it was always like I just had my own process.
your own process?
Yeah. And when it had other people talking, and I've tried writing with others, it gets, sometimes it's helpful, but also sometimes it gets me really distracted and I lose like my train of thought. And if I'm onto something, you just have to hook onto that and just zone out. So sometimes that'll happen where like I'll be writing, get an idea, and I'll literally write a whole video in like an hour and just like be good for the week. Other times it's like you spend that whole time and you get nothing.
Were there any like storytellers or people in the industry that inspired you?
In the industry.
Yeah, like the media
you mean
industry.
like YouTubers or like in general?
Not even like, I know like a lot of my friends who write, they love Quentin Tarantino, for example. They love how he does character creation, or like, for example, like writing lyrics. They love how Eminem writes. He just gets a note, like he's just constantly writing just all the time. Did you have anyone that you were inspired by regarding like your creative process?
I'm trying to think of like early on. I think it was just a lot of movies. I feel like back in the day, like back in the 2000s, there was like a lot of like, like Will Ferrell and like Zoolander,
The
like
comedy
those kind of,
ones,
there was a
yeah.
lot of those coming out every year. And then it slowly kind of transitioned to like the Seth Rogen style, a lot of very just like high humor. But I think early on, I think like the early Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, like I was saying, Ben Stiller, like I think it was more movies, honestly. Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, I could see how you were inspired by Napoleon Dynamite.
There's a lot of things that I just would watch. I watched Family Guy, South Park. I just watched a lot. And if it was funny to me,
South Park is still so good.
It's
amazing.
It's crazy how long they're able to keep up, and like they're
still so relevant, and they just literally hit the target.
Isn't there a doc on that about like how hard it is to keep, like they have to be so current all the time?
I just know like Justin, who he's the creator of Rick and Morty, like he was saying like like
that show's great too.
I mean, he's an incredible writer too. Like he has this amazing process of storytelling and just receiving these downloads. And he's constantly sketching and drawing. So that's why I was wondering, like, were you constantly writing, and or were you or was it just like a movie playing in your head, or you're just coming up with different scenarios?
I tried to look up, because there's days where you just can't think of ideas.
Yeah.
So you just like I learned to take breaks and just like go and just live a little. And like just like walk around, go outside, and sometimes it works. Like you get inspired.
Yeah.
Or drive, take a shower. I took a lot of unnecessary showers. It helps.
Yeah,
though.
it does help.
I don't know why. Why?
It's the water.
Find somebody.
It's the water.
You already have somebody that studies that.
Well,
huh?
yeah, of course.
You have a water.
Well, I mean, that's why they call it shower thoughts. They call it shower thoughts for a reason, because you're going in
But what does the water do?
The water brings in a certain energy that helps calm people. And so when you're in a more meditative state, when you're in alpha state of mind, you're able to receive and get more clarity. That's why a lot of people like they go on long walks and they come back and they have all these ideas, because your mind is going in this alpha state. It's hard to create when you're in beta state. Beta is like right now, we're in beta. We're constantly like reacting. We're just reacting.
Yeah.
How can you create when you react versus receiving the thoughts?
But isn't that like a writer's room? Like when you work with people, isn't that beta state because you're reacting what they're putting out?
That is a process. So I think that's a process. But I think writer's room is different than sitting still and receiving it and getting the clarity. I think that's different.
Yeah.
I think it's a different process that people like yourself, even people like me, like I get so many ideas when I shower.
Yeah.
I'm like you, I take 4 showers a day. I'm like, that was such a good idea. I'm writing that down.
I know. I even thought about getting something to have, like I could write in there, but I never did that. I would just remember it the best I could. But like I took a lot of unnecessary showers.
They're not unnecessary, hon. They're not, man.
Sometimes they were. It felt like it. I was like, why am I in here again? I'm just sitting here. Nothing's coming.
I know, like they're all babies to you, all your content. But was there one favorite of yours?
So I did one that was like a fake conspiracy video about the Illuminati.
Oh yeah, that one was a
And
great one.
that was one of those. Okay, so I remember writing that,
Okay.
and it would look like I was doing a actual like essay, like or not like a research project,
Yeah.
because I had to look up like geography. I had to look up all these things. I had lists and charts of like what can I make work. Like it's just like all this information. Like I'm bad with geography, so I had to pull up pictures. And I'm like, what can I make out of this? And then I pulled up like lists of like events that have happened and just tried to make all these connections work. And for me, that all clicked in like one moment. I wrote it in a day. So that video to me was like when you're in that's a perfect example. When you're inspired by something and it's flowing and you have ideas, it's really easy to write it.
You just receive
When you
it. Yeah.
when you don't have that idea and you're like there's some videos where it's like it's not that great. And I think anyone can agree that it's an okay video. Those take the longest because that means I had nothing. Like I had no ideas,
Mm-hmm.
no jokes. Like I had to force jokes. Where for the other one, I was just like I had to take stuff out. It was just like too long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
heard that
that
before.
one, that's just one. I don't know if I would say that's my favorite one, but I did
That was a
enjoy
good
writing that
one.
one.
That was a good one. You
Yeah.
could actually tell you had fun.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could
that
tell
one
when
was fun.
someone's having fun when they're making something.
Mm-hmm. And the people I did it with, Justin Chon was there, so like I got to have him in it, and he's like a real actor, so I didn't have to like that was just such an easy shoot too.
I know back in the day, like everyone was collaborating on YouTube, and you were like a master collaborator. You were collaborating with pretty much almost everyone.
It wasn't intentional. Like a lot of times, it was just like we met. Like for Kev, we knew of each other obviously, but we met for the first time at YouTube Live in like 2008, I want to say. And then we were like, oh, next time let's hang out. And then it's like, while we're hanging out, let's make a video. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to start collabing with all these other creators. Like sometimes people would reach out to me and be like, okay, sure. Like I remember I did stuff for like the station, which ended up becoming like Maker.
Yeah, I remember.
And then I was just like, that's wild. Cause I remember like I did a collab for them. I didn't know what they were doing at the time. It was just like a small group of creators and they wanted me to be in their videos. So I did a couple. And then they sold it for 500 million or something like that. So like
They didn't get 500 million.
well, I don't know. I don't know
They
what
needed to
got.
reach certain milestones, which they didn't to
Oh, so-
activate it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what happened with that, but that.
But they did well though.
Yeah,
for
no, that's what I
themselves.
mean. Like it started off as just like that
Yeah.
seemed calculated.
Yeah.
Like they had all these different collabs, and
Yeah.
I wasn't like that.
Okay.
It wasn't strategic. It's just we hung out. They were cool. Let's like use them for a video, or if they're good for a video too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember there was a moment when you were doing the podcast and everything. I remember like when we were done shooting, I was asking you, oh, like how are you transitioning into this? And you weren't really into the podcast stuff. And then, lockdown happened and you started streaming more. And I think for the first time, I actually saw that you were really happy.
Mhm.
Like it seemed like you found your home streaming. So I wanted to kind of talk more about that transition from being this YouTuber and creating all these like really fun skits to then transitioning full time into a streamer.
Mhm.
What was that like?
So because of lockdown, we couldn't film, right?
Yeah.
As like with the crew and everything. And to me, it felt like for the first time, because I couldn't do it, it was like a vacation. Because
Yeah.
any other time, even when I took vacations, I was working, I was
Yeah,
writing.
I get it. Yeah.
Like it did not I felt guilty for like,
Yeah.
I'm like my own boss. Why am I taking 2 weeks to go to Hawaii
Yeah.
when I could be working? Because I should be. And so it was that mindset for like a decade. And then once that happened, I was like, I literally can't do like, there's no point in me writing right now. And I felt like instant like freedom.
Yeah. Oh, that must
And-
have been an amazing kind of just release, right?
I didn't realize. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I was feeling that way. And then when I was forced to stop, it was very nice.
Freeing, right?
Yeah, it was nice. So it
Yeah,
felt like
you look so happy.
I mean,
No, when
it-
I was hanging out with you during
Mhm, mhm.
podcasts, like, ooh, the heaviness. I
it
sense
was just
heaviness.
a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Because even with the podcast, which I enjoyed more than just like doing skits all the time, it was still like we still had to do other stuff.
Did it feel like a lot because it no longer felt fun? It felt like a job. There's obligations with like having your team and making sure the machine was running.
Yes. Making sure that it's running, and like for the things that it's not the creative I didn't like. It's just in order for us to do the things I really want to do, it's going to keep escalating. Like I want to keep improving and do something bigger and bigger and bigger. The issue is like that's going to require more and more time, more and more money, and like the algorithm had switched where like you need to create more content, not less. Even if it's better, you need longer and more
Yeah.
content. So it was like kind of I was going against the system,
Yeah.
and it kind of was. It's still we're surviving it, but we weren't like
Thriving.
exactly.
Yeah.
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 So it was that pressure of like, how much am I willing to just put out okay content? And I
Yeah.
hated that.
Yeah.
Like I actually like it would eat at me. I would never watch the video again. Stuff like that.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of that towards the end, I think.
So what got you into streaming then? Were you just bored
that
and like, I'm gonna
also-
hang out with my friends online and just stream? Why not?
So that was also an accident. I wanted to. I mean, you know me. I always gamed.
Yeah, of
It
course.
just didn't show it, and I know
Yeah.
you used to game a lot too.
Yeah.
But I wanted to stream because some of my other like guys at work I work with, they also started streaming, and I was like, I could do it. I'll try it. Like this could be content for like second channel or something. And so when we were setting it up, I remember we were just testing stuff out, and people somehow found it, like a random.
No way.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
You
how.
didn't even put it out that you were doing
Nothing,
this.
because we were testing. So people showed up to the stream, like less than like 10 people. Somehow, the first time I actually went live, testing it out again.
Yeah.
Someone had posted in that time on like I think some Reddit thing, and it just
Yeah.
got out that I was streaming. I never ever once on YouTube said that I was streaming, that I stream
yeah,
on Twitch.
I know. Yeah.
So people just started showing up, and I thought it was fun to feel that feeling of building again.
Yeah.
And, like-
authentic audience, right?
Yeah, like they're just showing up on their own, and like people still to this day will be like, "I didn't
What?
know
You're
you streamed.
streaming?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't believe you're streaming. Like, where have you been?" Because I didn't tell anyone, but like I kind of wanted to keep it that way. So
Do you feel like your audience changed? Because I remember when you were stopped every 10 seconds hanging out with you, it was mostly female fans that you had. Do you feel like your fan base has shifted from YouTube to streaming?
no, I think a lot of them were still, even the ones there currently, a lot of them know me from YouTube. There's a very few of them that will say, "Oh, I didn't find your YouTube till after you, like I found you on Twitch," but it's pretty rare. But the fan base, what were you saying? Like the demo?
Demo wise, like what was your demo on YouTube? Was it 50-50 male and female?
It used to be higher female, and then it
Okay.
became like, I think over as time progressed, like 50-50.
Oh, okay. All right.
It became pretty close, and then
That's
eventually a
amazing.
little bit more male.
Okay. I know like the whole YouTube content schedule thing, everyone has their own thing, but streaming seems more you just have to be so present, right? Like what's your streaming schedule like?
I stream pretty much every day. Take a couple of days off, but I kind of start in the mornings and just go to whenever I feel like it. Unlike a lot of, I think, I can do it every day because I don't think I do it well. Like,
When you say
okay,
like you're
I
not
don't-
performing?
I'm not performing.
Yeah.
I'm literally chilling, and my chat and my community that's there knows that.
Yeah.
But like when people come there initially, especially YouTube audience, they're expecting, vlogger Ryan
Yeah.
a lot of the time, or even just
Yeah.
like me. Like I could do more, honestly, but I wouldn't be able to do it all the time if I was performing. I just genuinely enjoy.
I think people
games.
have you in the back and you're just
yeah,
the friend in the back that they have.
That's what I
right?
learned. I didn't
Yeah.
know that's what it was initially. When I
Yeah.
first started streaming, and why I didn't for a long time was because of that. I had streamer friends and they're like, "You should stream."
Yeah.
I was like, "I can't do that. It's exhausting." But it's not, because I don't have to perform,
yeah.
which is also leads us back to why people think I'm mad all the time.
Okay.
They think and when I'm concentrating on games too, I look like
yeah. No, you just have RBF. You're just
this.
stoic.
I have RBF.
You're just
I do.
stoic. You're stoic in RBF. It's totally fine. This is the new era of Ryan.
The mad one.
Yeah. No, just this is
Yeah.
just me. This is
Yeah,
me and
yeah.
not performing.
Yeah, and that's what I explain all the time to people.
It's crazy you still have to explain that now.
Yeah, but I also don't blame them if they only knew me from YouTube
Yeah,
and for like
yeah.
a certain period of time, and then they're just coming across me without knowing. I don't really blame them. They probably see such a big change, and they're like, "What happened? Why are you so sad
So
or mad?"
would you say now that there's this relief, you don't have like a machine that you have to keep going? I mean, are you enjoying this? Do you feel like you enjoy being a streamer more than doing the content you did on YouTube?
I think for the first time in like since I like took a break,
Yeah.
I think it took me like 2 or 3 years, probably 2 years, until I really felt like the want to like create again.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily like YouTube stuff. So I am working on some other things that are
That's amazing.
Yeah, it could be something, but like every now and then I'll just write just to write. But like I didn't feel that want to write in like I want to say the last 6 years of YouTube, 5, 6 years of YouTube. It felt forced. Like I had
Mhm.
to do it. Not like in the very beginning where I wanted to like I had an idea and I wanted to execute it.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
I love that. That's
yeah.
when you know it's going to be good. Like you're having fun again.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
creative spark is
Mhm.
coming back. You just needed this. In a way, your streaming became a 9 to 5. You just needed this 9 to
Yeah.
5
No,
that's
honestly
stable,
though.
right?
Honestly, yeah.
It's a 9 to 5,
Yeah.
and that's totally fine.
Yeah. A very easy one, but yeah, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Kinda. Like
I have
more of
my
a
version
schedule.
of a 9 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great. I just literally work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I say it all the time. I'm like, what I get to do now for a living is like literally the dream, my childhood dream. I get to play games. I did this for free. Now I just have to film it. Like I was gonna do that after my work anyway. So
So, question: when it comes to YouTube drama versus Twitch drama, who's more toxic? Which group which drama would
drama.
be more toxic?
Hmm.
Because I know you weren't really involved in YouTuber
Not
drama,
really.
but I think like your opinion is interesting because you're actually outside of it, but you kind of see it, right?
Well, YouTube drama has changed a lot too over time. Like I haven't really kept up as much.
I mean, like back then at the height.
Name me one. Like what's one big one?
Gosh, I mean, like even like the Logan Paul and CoffeeZilla, how they're just constantly.
Mhm,
I mean, that's
mhm.
I wouldn't say it's current, but it's still a thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That kind of became like the new good. Like that's like content now, right? Like just
Yeah.
drama.
Versus like Twitch drama, because I feel like Twitch has more dramas, like between the Twitch streamers.
I think they have more dramas because they're on all the time and like constantly. Like they're not. I feel like if YouTubers were constantly filmed, they would be in a lot more dramas.
That's true.
I think
Yeah.
behind the scenes too. I feel like not everyone's how they're like
Yeah,
on YouTube.
that's true. That's true.
With Twitch, you can't fake it. If you're on every day, you can't fake it for that long.
Yeah.
Your like real self is going to be shown, and like that comes with things, right? Like
Speaking of faking it, have you followed the whole NPC live streamers? You know about it, right?
NPC. You're talking about like the AI, or what do you
No,
mean?
I'm talking about.
Oh, the ones that are doing this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like.
I think it's impressive.
that's what I was gonna say.
I
Is
think that's
do
so
you
hard
think you
work.
could have done that?
I feel like I could do it. No, I don't know if I could do it.
Like
I
when
shouldn't
if
say
you were a
that. That's
teenager.
exhausting.
No. It's like not now. It's,
Yeah. I think if I was making good money, I don't know if I would. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Have you seen the
Times
one?
have changed.
He's the Spider-Man kid.
Yeah.
And it's like whenever he's given a galaxy,
He's impressive.
he is super
I
impressive.
think he earns his money. I'm just people make fun of them, but I think that's so
I
impressive.
think he earns like
Yeah.
I'm like
You're talking about the one where he's jumping and doing.
but someone has. I think
Yeah.
I saw it recently. They have like a behind the scenes of him actually doing the jump.
Mhm.
He's literally climbing up like 5 steps of stairs and he's jumping from there.
So we had to do like a I remember we did like a trick shot video where I'm
I
filming
remember
takes.
that.
Yeah. So there's one
Yeah.
where I have to go literally, I don't know why I did this. For the skit, I had to walk over to this cup or like to this pen and like bend down, basically do a squat. And then I had to toss the pen into a cup and then stand up and walk off screen nonchalantly.
Yeah.
But it was
How many takes?
it was like
How many takes?
I want to say it's over like hundreds.
Yeah.
But it was like I had literally like I couldn't walk, and that's my own fault. Why did I write? Why did I write that?
But it's such a good video. If people knew the suffering, I always tell people the best art comes when the artists they suffer.
I'm not. Yeah, very true.
Yeah,
Very true. I also think like in music too, that's the case.
it's true. Yeah.
I tell David all the time, your sad stuff's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to have your heart broken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
just mess him up.
I know.
Like make him like
Let's
make him
traumatize
sad.
him.
Like he like that to me. I think I just like sad music.
No, I do too.
Mhm.
If I'm in that mood, I go there. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. You're allowed
Mhm.
to feel how you feel.
Even if I'm not in that mood, I still listen to it. I enjoy it. I sometimes work out to like sad songs.
That's impressive, actually.
Mhm. Is it impressive?
So it's kind of crazy how you're telling me as a kid you felt so depressed, and then there's been a lot of these valleys that you've been going through, the numbness and everything. So my question is like, how were you able to overcome it? Did you have tools or did you have techniques on confronting these feelings and overcoming them?
I think for me, the first time, both times that when I was an adult that I felt that way, I think a lot of it was not just work related,
Yeah.
but also like potentially with like just current situation I was in.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times it's resolving those problems. And it was a combination of a lot of things happening at once and feeling overwhelming. And then just taking those things without going into specifics, but like tackling things one at a time rather than focusing on everything at once.
Yeah. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. But I mean, like a lot of times it's easier said than done. Because you kind of got just go through the motions, you know? So it's a lot of it is like, for me, like the last time was like, I was unhappy because I was doing the same kind of like content over and over. And it was the end of like not the end of YouTube, but
I know what you mean.
yeah, like I was just like, damn, like is this? How long am I gonna keep doing this?
Yeah.
Because at least like I didn't, like I said, I didn't miss creating the content. I missed creating new things that I haven't done, and like the feeling of like growth and like doing more and improving. But with that, like I'm still have a business to run. You know, like I have to create.
You have to make a living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to keep the lights on.
So releasing content. I told you how much it hurts me to release content that's I don't think is good.
Oh, I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah. So releasing
understand.
that stuff was like hurting me week after week.
Yeah.
And it's just that they just kept piling on to the point where it was like,
Well, you care so much about what you create. And so if you're creating something where there's not a lot of care into it, it hurts
and people
you.
would say they're great, and I don't.
But
and
they
I-
don't see your
and
potential.
I could if I really wanted to, I could break down and tell you exactly why this is not good and why this is not funny and why this joke is like this joke but like I'm not gonna do it. That's, you know what I mean?
This
Like,
is when detaching is very important. You have to
it
detach
ate
from your
at me.
art.
Like it actually like ate at me a lot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was almost like that, what's it called? Like the fraud syndrome.
Yeah.
What's that called? I don't know. But
Imposter syndrome.
yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
damn, this is not good content. And I'm getting praised for this. So I had a lot of that towards the end.
Right.
And then I stopped caring as much. And then like, because I wasn't posting as often, because I
Right.
wanted to do other things, it was costly.
Yeah.
So
So would you say like streaming has become a format that works with you today?
I feel like streaming is still my vacation.
That's
Like, I'm-
amazing.
Like it's something I would be doing, and it does
Yeah.
get times where I do feel like I want to create, and that's why I said
Yeah.
I am working on some other things that I don't really want to bring up because in case it doesn't turn into anything. But yeah, I have like that itch to kind of do more creative again.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a little bit more writing here and there.
Good, good. It's
But I haven't had that
opening up.
want. Yeah, I haven't had that want in like years. So streaming's been nice, but it's something I would probably be doing. Like I'd still be playing games, and the issue is like I can
This
do
is
it
your
for
9
a
to
living.
5.
Yeah,
No,
I get to do it for
this is your 9
a
to
living,
5.
and it's a great gig. But yeah, the itch to like kind of create again is like kind of back. So been working on some stuff.
I'm excited. I
Yeah,
want to hear
hopefully.
about it once the cameras
Yeah.
are off. So last question is, what legacy would you want to leave behind?
I think I would want my legacy to be around like being on the side of I'm just talking from a writing perspective
go
and a
for it.
comedy perspective, like being on the side of trying to do different things, even at the cost of like being awful or being wrong or being I just like people that try to create new stuff. I like creatives and people that are trying to do new things and not just redo the same things. Which is easier said than done. But I want people to, I guess if that's the legacy, is for more people to do that.
To be a trailblazer.
Yeah, kind of. Or like take the challenge of like, if everyone's saying one thing, take that thing and try and make it your own way.
I think maybe that's why deep down there's a sadness in you because most people are just copies of copies of copies. No one's really.
But to a certain degree, even for me, right? Like I try to do that, but like it's hard to be like I was saying earlier, everything has been done. I think in a certain way. It's just evolving on that thing, right?
Mhm.
So I think the want to always evolve, I feel like that doesn't happen as much. It doesn't happen as much as I haven't been seeing as much. Let me just say. I mean, I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know. But to me, that's what I always enjoyed in content, and that's what people mostly know me from. So I think wanting to do that urge to like change and evolve things.
I think it's coming. I could feel it from you. The next evolution of Ryan. Because you're in this
Well, hopefully.
hibernation period.
I was
kind of
I would
hibernating
consider
right
this
now.
it's a vacation.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a vacation
I
hibernation.
think it was necessary.
It is, yeah.
Um,
You've been creating out of a deficit for so many years.
Yeah. And it felt, like I said, that's why I think that led to a lot of like me feeling not good because of like forcing it. So Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's the case. It is hard to get back into something when you haven't done it in a long time, you know?
You just got to have fun. Just
Yeah.
follow what is fun.
I mean, for me, for my what I like and enjoy, I like people that try different things and try new things. It doesn't necessarily mean it's never been done, but like if one, for example, if people are doing the same kind of trend, how can you take that idea and completely make a new idea? To me, that's just more interesting than just doing the trend.
No, thank you so much, Ryan, for coming.
Thank you
and
for having me.
Always appreciate your words of wisdom. And yeah, let's get you into meditation. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's just see if I can turn into a different person right now.
Yeah.